Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Trine 2. So in the last level, which is I think the second to last level for the entire game, we, I guess fought a giant octopus, although we're really not sure. Like honestly it probably was closer to a giant squid, and we were just shooting eyeballs in a few places. A lot of platforming. Nothing really special about the second to last level other than at the end we walk through a magical portal, and so now I assume we're going to some other realm where Isabel has been trapped for some amount of time. Although it is weird really that the Rosabelle, who seems to be fairly obviously the person in who is the bad guy, she kind of quickly got dethroned by the King of Goblins and lost her entire kingdom. So, like, Rosabelle's efforts to get rid of her sister, Isabel, didn't even really succeed in her being that powerful. She just ended up being a witch in a petrified tree that we saw way earlier in this game.
I'm so grateful that you've slain the Goblin King. Now, please, hand over the Trine.
We can't do that even if we wanted to. It's bound to us.
I see.
Where is your sister?
Poor Isabel. I'm afraid her magic has cursed the forest. But if you give me the artifact, we can remove the enchantment for good.
No, we'll come with you and face her together.
I'm afraid I can't allow that.
So,
and now we're trapped.
Well,
weird conversation here.
The goblin-hating adventurers locked up in our dungeons. You'll never get out, not while I have you in my sight.
So we're just like
Then
trapped in
let's
an
get
area?
out of his sight.
Which I guess at a certain point makes good argument that there should probably be more traps. And see this circle here, I thought this was just straight up the cursor. I was trying to figure out why the cursor was on screen. Yeah, it definitely does potentially make some sense to have an escape the room type experience, or escape experience in a narrative anyways. Okay. Start with that.
Where did they go?
So we were just supposed to hang up, and then that gets them to open the door, and that gets us through. So weirdly, that's about the most cinematic experience we've ever seen in this game. Okay. What skills do we have? Like, I guess we're saving up for this. Like, it doesn't really seem like we probably could afford anything more. And it would just be a while before we could really put that to use. So, let's just put some boxes here, which is a pretty default way of solving the problem of well, either I'm not getting direct hits on this guy, or he just has a lot of health. It's interesting there's wood up there as a platform, but let's see. Whoops. I guess you have to be a little bit more careful. Lock that there. Lock that there. Destroy that one to make a bigger one. Lock that one there. That gets me up to this area to find this little extra. And then shoot this with our explosive arrow. Which, yeah, I guess if you didn't ever have anything explosive, that's about to explode too, then you would run into
this place, wherever we are.
a really difficult
find out what's
section.
going on with Rosabelle and her sister.
This Isabel makes the trees and plants grow back home. Why would she do that?
Maybe she's a wicked cackling witch gone mad.
But it's Rosabelle who took her and locked her up somewhere.
But princesses ought to be nice and lovely, not tearing each other's hair or destroying kingdoms over crowns.
I assume this is just an instant death. Very constantly I'm having this problem where it just does not feel like you could actually beat these levels without a significant amount of like level ups and skill additions on this. It just doesn't seem like with one crafted thing you can legitimately be believed that to solve a puzzle. And yes, I'm sure there probably are some speedrunners out there that will prove me wrong on that thought, but overall I definitely don't feel like that your average player is being well suited by this potential experience. Let's see. Like, solving this specific puzzle kind of obviously took a plank and a brick, and you wouldn't have planks at all until you got at least to this point. Or I guess maybe you could have unlocked planks without being able to conjure 2 items, but that still wouldn't have really helped. Maybe the speedrunner really could have could have done something more. I'd assume that this is something different. But no XP here. Interesting. So maybe we're supposed to narrative-wise find out that Isabel isn't actually good either, and that, or maybe, I mean, it could be several different things, I guess. It could be that they're both bad. It could be that Rosabelle's just making Isabel look bad. It could be that there really isn't an Isabel and Rosabelle. Okay. I guess that works. Collect that. More and more we are being asked to like find the collectibles more than anything else. It's not super focused. It definitely does just feel like the story is probably going to go that we've been fighting all these goblins when the goblins are somehow going to be the good guys, even though they've been attacking us this whole time. And the goblins have just been helping Isabel, trying to reclaim her throne, which doesn't really help the story much because we've still just been killing goblins, even if they are actually the good guys, and that is still the exact same problem where if goblins were the humans of the kingdom originally, or if the kingdom was just originally always run by goblins or full of goblins, we're still the bad guys for killing them. Okay. So in this we needed to swing quite a bit. And just bunny hop our way the rest of the way there. There's a lot of bunny hopping going on in this game, and typically bunny hopping, unless you're speedrunning, indicates that the game is not really going the way I would hope it would go. Okay. If I was to make a small cube, it's kind of hard to even make small cubes. Nope. They've definitely gotten this down, so none of that's gonna work. So as far as I see it, there's two possible solutions. One is you jump on the center of these axes and hope that that doesn't just kill you. Or two is you run in some pattern that doesn't seem to line up on the bottom. Is there anything else I can manipulate or even move around here? I can start here and get a little bit more height. Instant kill on the spikes. Okay. Let's go a little forward just to see if maybe there was a switch. It doesn't seem like there is. Like, these conjured items have this one vulnerability in that they are destroyable. They also are pierceable. So doing a plank there actually doesn't help anything. So it does really just feel like best case scenario, I would have to do something like this. And even that doesn't really feel like it would work. Could I possibly hit? Okay. So you get a low gravity field that way. So then it would just be a case, can I possibly jump to this one orb? And I guess I could do that. Jump up here, and then jump here and grab that, and then die, and then jump that and jump here and see if we can make it, but probably not. Then reset from the last checkpoint. But what does that matter, because we've already collected everything. Again, I don't see a way, though, that you really yeah, I don't see a way that you really solve that puzzle without having the time low gravity field. I think this may just be a case where either we need a really tiny cube to balance this equally, which doesn't happen, or we're just supposed to do that. Like, clearly the sun opens this path. Let's pick up all this XP and not just ignore it. You even have an arrow here pointing. But I don't think the solution is really to do that. So is this straight up a weight puzzle?
What was the mysterious receptacle above the door? It seemed as if a shimmer of light was glimmering inside it.
Receptacle, you say? There's nothing you can grab over here. Nothing there. Wow. You would definitely have thought at this point the player would be fully trained into like all the game mechanics, and there would be no real surprises happening here. Okay. So apparently a box and an orb is equal to a person and a box and an orb. That's a weird weight puzzle, certainly, and sure, I guess if the game wanted more weight puzzles, I'm not going to begrudge it for having that, but might as well just wander back here and refill our health. The instant kill on this is a lot. Is there possibly a solution? Not really. This is just supposed to be a cinematic you made it timing thing. Boy, this is not what you want at the end of a game, though, is to be getting killed by glaciers. I guess again, if we could perhaps slow down time, we could buy ourselves some extra safety. Of course, you have to actually time your jumps correctly, too. Weirdly, you also lose your time slowdown bubble. I guess maybe the idea is that you needed to pull backwards a little bit. Alright, now we're screwed, though, so we gotta hit this orb just to refill our health and bring back this fire guy. Which, yeah, if the game really wanted me to stop fighting these guys, it would stop throwing them at me and having them attack me directly. Like, they definitely are attacking first. So yeah, it would be very, very weird for the game to say, actually, you weren't supposed to be attacking these guys. And again, the time slowdown bubble definitely feels like it is the right move. Whoops. Yeah, and I'm definitely not a fan when I'm just saying whoops like that. That's just like, oh, the game screwed up, or I screwed up in a way. Seems to me like this would be the move. But if this is the move, then what do I do then? Definitely seems like you're just muddling your way through. Maybe the idea was that this is where you were supposed to slow down time. Like that. And then you were supposed to do that. Honestly, I don't know if I even really need to do that much because I think I could just swing here. But there's also a lever here that's kind of hard to see in the background. So that actually had to be done. That wasn't optional. It feels like we're either going to have a interesting puzzle here or just a cutscene, maybe even a boss fight. Let's see. Okay. Pull this lever, and down it goes. Just stop that from setting on fire. That didn't help.
Oh no, it's like the forge all over again.
Okay. So I guess the forge may have been a section in the first game. That was the guess. Stand a little bit over here. Let's make a plank. Let's put a box on it. Bounce it out. Okay. And then I guess it would be just a question of could that get me high enough? I don't think it can. I think this was probably more of an idea of doing something like this. Probably didn't make the plank quite as long as I would like it to be. We can only craft 4 items, so we have a plank and 3 cubes already. We could try and nudge that a little bit further to get on the edge there. We collect this. Then a collectible concept art painting. A lot of the concept arts that we've seen have been more into that icy realm. So we have like a explosible barrel that we could toss on that side and start it rolling that way and see if that blows anything up of importance. honestly, I just don't feel like that does anything to help us in any way. Unless there was perhaps a case where making a platform would stop it from getting melted all the way through if, say, it was split in a couple different places. So you can just slightly get some room there. I could do that. It would almost certainly make more sense to make a way longer platform over there. Do that. And that considerably narrows the gap. Otherwise, there is also a jump platform, but that kind of feels like that is a solution to just come back later. It definitely does feel like the general idea there, that will I guess help too, is that you have to get past these areas, and then it gives you what I could only really describe as far too minimal of a assistance to get back to an area later, when ideally I definitely would prefer that you pulled this switch, and instead of just raising a platform, it would drain the entire area and shut off the lava. There definitely feels like there's a fairly arbitrary amount of extra work that they're making the players go through. Okay. Swing and jump. Jump here. Shoot this to get one more XP. And I suspect, actually, I shouldn't have brought that here. Which maybe that is just a case where I'm actually supposed to bring it all the way to the end of the level for some weird achievement or something. See, if I get burnt one more time, I'm gonna have to run all the way back. I might as well just run back here. Knocking the guy in the lava, it's not hurting him seemingly at all, but you would hope it would. Notice that this game also had acid, and now we're doing lava, and it just doesn't really make the most sense that you would have both options, like instead of just focusing in on one option. This guy's not really getting blown up much. So I'm basically just gonna have to go in the lava to make him. I guess we'll just jump to the other section and see if he chases after me. One more level is still needed for this ability. I was wondering if perhaps this would pull that upward. Nope. Would that perhaps cool though? So I can't really build a platform to climb up unless there really is a cooling force. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not certain there at all. As far as I could tell, there might be a cooling factor in force there, or there might not be. But it doesn't actually get me high enough either way. So is there some other section that I'm missing? Or is this just straight up a low gravity field? Which, obviously the low gravity field is not programmed correctly and becomes this magical barrier. The fire will not cross the line one way or the other. Which gets me to that point. I have absolutely no idea how you would solve that without the low gravity field though. The other options, we need to have been able to unlock these other abilities far quicker, like metal magnetizing or kite sail shield. We needed to be able to unlock these to at least experiment with them. Otherwise, the game needed to force me to reset all and use the other abilities.
The magic forest has reached a human kingdom in the far west. They are rich with fat pigs and tasty sheep. No more snails. We go in the cover of forest, attack in the dark, and steal all their pigs. Oh, and their pies. And their pies. Their ales. And their women. Our ales? Shh.
Okay. So we can do that. And we can rotate this. Although it doesn't really feel like it wants to let me rotate things. quite the way I would think I'd want to. Okay, I'm really struggling to get this to rotate. Okay. That was kind of obviously the solution. Had I brought in a three-way splitter, would that have done anything more for me? I don't really feel like it would have. Getting that to spin faster is probably not very helpful. That's funny, the arrow seemingly activated very far away. Okay. Low gravity jump. Low gravity jump, low gravity jumps. All over the place. Okay. So the question will come down to how do we want to do all this? Seems like we could probably place a cube there. Or, you know, it probably is even better just to do something like that. And just stop that spinning altogether. I think that works nicely. The lava stopped flowing. Which that... I don't know why specifically the lava stopped flowing, other than the fact that, once again, the physics, the water physics and fire physics of this game are just not programmed to actually work with the low gravity physics of the game. I guess that's where we really are at with this, is that there is actually several highly experimental physics engines and concepts here. And like, you just don't have modern programming in there that you would expect, where everything just works. Okay. And in all fairness, this is a very old game, so somebody had to be the first to program physics engines and do their best and cheat it at some small level. To have not 100% accurate physics. I'd also say, in this case, it definitely doesn't feel like I need 4 specific spawns. It does kind of feel like I could make do with 2 Particularly if you've got like a cube here. If I put this cube here, would that stop gears from turning? No. Seems like if I made a platform and then just got it to stop swinging as much, I can jump from one platform to the other. Just wait till the lava's gone. I guess the question is, can we make it all the way through this now that we've lost our character? Yep. Okay. Whoops. It almost feels like you would make it the whole way. I'm not 100% sure why the swing changed that much though. Yeah, I'm very confused as to why the slow gravity caused this to swing as much as it is. Okay. And then this is just a matter of making boxes. I find it dull, to say the least, though, that we have just been reduced in playing these levels to spending so much of the effort and energy to just find
Thick ice.
collectibles.
There's no good here.
All of a sudden, thick ice is a new kind of challenge. I think with this I can probably get just enough height. Maybe I'm slightly not high enough. You would think you could jump back on the wall and bounce off the wall, and you can do it, but it's kind of difficult. There's another poem.
Summer is gone with all its roses, its sun and sights of sweetest flowers, its foliage and July showers, and now the autumn closes. Soon autumn's windy days are going, and darker days are ever colder, each day dimmer as time grows older, but spring waits in the earth, unknowing.
So there you have a real poem. Okay. Let's start with the basics. What does this move? It moves this. Okay. So if I jump at the top, I come out the center. If I jump out the bottom, I come out the center. So everything comes out the center. If I make a platform, and then maybe make a box to hold the platform up, I come out here. And then that lets me, I guess, move this over this way.
They needed to melt the ice to continue their escape.
Which I guess means that the solution here is to actually just, whoops, connect this here like that, and then move this up here like that. And then we just need to get rid of our low gravity field. So this is the water flowing mechanic of watering the plants, except for this time it's lava and ice. But I could definitely see where players wouldn't realize that that's what's going on, and it would just feel like all of a sudden you have this new puzzle element in an ice wall that you don't really know how to solve. This feels incredibly arbitrary. To have basically nothing here. And it feels to me like the goal of this section would be to give you something pretty to look at. So having the distraction of the XP feels a little off.
Dear
Another thing to
Isabel,
read.
it's best for us both if you stay here for a while. I intend to be queen. I'm much better at it. Don't try to escape. You will be cared for during your stay. Rosabelle.
As the heroes read the letter, the kingdom's fate suddenly made sense. Rosabelle had taken Isabel's place as the crown princess, but something had gone wrong, and their kingdom had ended up in ruins and overtaken by goblins.
That sorceress! She'll meet the end of my sword if she dares show her face again.
See, it feels like a lot of these puzzles should be solvable by cramming the gears like this, but weirdly, they really aren't. Get that to stop swinging. Not a really big reveal there. Like, it seemed like it was pretty obvious. Does it behoove a game to have an incredibly simplistic and obvious story when the puzzles are actually fairly cryptic and difficult to figure out? Like, wouldn't it make a lot more sense to say, hey, Trine as a series is not really a teen plus story, but a infirmature type story with its difficult platforming and puzzling. Although maybe it's not super difficult platforming, but it's difficult enough. This definitely isn't a Lego game with Lego style platforming where they would be really easy, or Lego style puzzles that would be really easy. So why are you giving me a Lego level of intelligence as far as a story? It's just lazy writing. I mean, that's what we really have to call it. Once again, overemphasis on... Well, I'm not even sure what they're emphasizing. It just kind of feels like everything is haphazardly done And they've probably rushed out 5 Trines now. The 5th one is soon to come out as of this recording. When they probably should have only have made 3 and taken a good 5 to 10 years potentially to release every Trine. To say, this is of course something that Valve has kind of committed to, and people perhaps have complained about Valve not releasing a Half-Life 3 and only having released the really well received Half-Life Alyx for VR, because Valve really only wanted to do something when they had something groundbreaking to show off and something new. I had to kill myself there, by the way. Just couldn't do anything else. But yeah. Had Trine had that same mentality, and they waited until there was something new and amazing to show for a Trine 2, instead of just, I mean, I have to use the word haphazardly or uncaringly coming out with a sequel that is too close in the physics concepts and too close, I think, in general in the puzzle concepts of the first game. It's just too much. I don't know why they bothered to 3D model a woolly mammoth. This whole game is just too pretty, frankly. Yeah. I definitely feel like if the game's graphics were half as complicated as far as just what's in the foreground, what's in the background, you could have a lot more polish on the puzzles. I don't even really want more puzzles. I just want more variety in the current puzzles, or just polish so that it's an obvious solution. When you look at like Portal 1 has maybe about 20 levels in total. Every single world extremely polished as far as each puzzle. They very intentionally put you in these bleak white rooms that didn't have anything in the background to really distract you. They made it very clear what a companion cube would do, what a sphere would do, what a portal would do, and how you would interact with that. There's also turrets and lasers in Portal 1. I don't even know if there are spheres in Portal 1. They may have been introduced in Portal 2. But then when you do get to Portal 2, they also only added a sphere and bouncing gel and acceleration gel. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, they don't add a new portal. They don't overly complicate it. And so that's what I would have wanted with Trine 2, is that I would have wanted to see a much more simplistic area. I would want to see all of the things you can actually interact with be obviously kind of more glowing and more in the foreground, because I could see a player definitely thinking that you could just grapple and swing on the horn of that mammoth, which would have been kind of cool. Or that maybe you're supposed to do something with all the huts in the background, or maybe that swinging flag there is something you're supposed to jump and swing on. It's actually a little surprising that you can't jump and swing on flags, or shoot them with fire arrows and burn them, or, you know, just any number of other things.
This icy slope will be the death of us.
So what are we supposed to do with this big snowball? It feels like I should have ricochet arrows. And I know in Trine 5 you do have ricochet arrows, but there's literally no ricochet arrow ability in this game. So I know by the 5th game in the series they have decided that should be a thing. Okay. And to have the fire sword, you would have had to have gotten to this point. So I don't know how you really would have started. I guess maybe what you could have done, and I can only, I guess, speculate at this point whether this is the case or not, is that you would have taken that and then dragged it all the way here, taken the explosive barrel, dragged it all the way here, and then set it on fire on that flaming section to blow up that section. Okay. Well, that's basically no way to get back there, is there? I would have to make myself platforms. Again, just bunny hopping. Right. Make a platform there. Should not really slide at all, because the sliding physics don't really work. Okay, that gets me there. It looks like there might be something over there with that little blue dot, but I imagine that's just a little mistakable thing. And then there's 2 more XP things. Okay. And we'll just ride that down that way. It's been over an hour, so I wouldn't be surprised if we are just about to the point where we will be done. I suspect boss fight would make sense. Third time we just fought a troll. So, am I supposed to be running over here? It's the exact same movement mechanics and the exact same thing over and over again. So we fought 3 of these trolls, which to me that really just screams that is the only boss fight that they successfully programmed. Clearly, you should have taken half of your resources as far as making this visually polished and had more of a focus on fixing your boss fights, since they seem like they're going to be a bigger deal. Or possibly you could make an argument that better story writing could use some more budget too. I can't really complain too much about the audio. I don't 100% love the way the music is, in the sense that it is a little repetitive, but honestly, if you added 1 or 2 extra songs, that still probably wouldn't change much for me.
The path
1 or 2
stops here,
cutscenes
and it's a long
would
way
be helpful.
down.
How am I going to get away? Help me, little tree. Grow your branches long and strong so I may pass.
Isabel? She made the tree grow.
As if by magic.
Did we get all the XP? So it felt like when I touched that tree it got 3 times bigger for some reason, but maybe that's just the lighting. It does just kind of feel like the whole game is gonna end there. The whole level's gonna end
The
there.
heroes had discovered that Isabel was indeed Rosabel's sister. The journey back to Rosabel's house took the trio down the side of a mountain and through the perilous haunted forests. Now their progress was made swifter, for it seemed as if the whole forest had come alive to help them get back safely. Hoping to catch Rosabel off guard, they made their way to a balcony high atop the petrified tree.
And so we have this whole final chapter that we'll do in the next level. It could be, but I doubt, a very, very short chapter and just like a cutscene. But I kind of doubt that. We kind of feel like there should be at least a little bit more. Although I kind of doubt that the final chapter is just going to be this amazing culmination of everything we've learned, of which I would argue we really haven't learned that much as far as how to solve puzzles and platforming. If anything, I feel like a lot of players who had just played Trine 1 jumping into Trine 2 would have found it to be super easy because there's just no new tricks here. Yeah, the story seems to be fairly obvious. Rosabel's bad, Isabel's good. We're probably going to fight Rosabel. It would be an interesting twist, I suppose, if it turns out that Rosabel's actually good and Isabel's bad, which would explain the vines attacking at the very beginning of the game, because you could certainly explain everything else away as just a third party in the fact that the goblins are attacking or Rosabel attacking with the vines, but yeah, there could be a twist. It wouldn't be much of a twist because there just isn't that much of a story. But yeah, each of these levels are getting longer and longer, and fewer people are actually bothering to beat these levels. There's actually a fairly fairly huge gap between, say, the 27% of people who have completed Eldritch Passages on Steam, according to the achievement, and the 2.7% of players who collected all the experience in Eldritch Passages. But yeah, I definitely am in line with most of the players of this game in that I am not getting all the experience, and there really is just no way you would have gotten all the experience to unlock everything at all. It's fairly obvious, and at least the main game without the complete story DLC element, you just won't have enough XP. Plus, you can't go back and play a level twice to grind for XP. You can go back and play a level and find the 1 XP orb you missed, but that's it. the maximum amount of XP does not line up with the maximum amount of abilities. Which almost makes me wonder if the maximum amount of abilities were also increased by the DLC. Which wouldn't improve anything by any means. If all of a sudden the slow, low gravity bubble didn't exist in the main game and was only added in the DLC, well then the game would just have been way more difficult. In fact, so difficult I may very well have not beaten the game. Which maybe that's what the complete story DLC really improves upon, is if it did add extra abilities, it added a bunch of abilities that would have made it easier to cheat or cheese your way through puzzles. But honestly, there are definitely some puzzles that I have seen here, and I just don't know any way to actually solve them other than to kind of cheese your way through it. Anyways, I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, probably because I am. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me further, there's some links down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.